It's time to wake up from the dream world, Supermatic.
Oh, I think I'm still sleeping. Wake me up.
But not from a G-Friend dream. It's the Kpopcast. And what are we looking at today, Supermatic?
We are checking out the new release and comeback from the boys of B.A.P. and their...
B.A.P, which stands for...
Best Absolute Perfect.
And their new comeback single, which is Wake Me Up.
Wake me up. Before you go.
Or what was that Evanescence song? Wake me up inside.
Don't wake me up.
Chris Brown.
Yeah. Original, song titles for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Very original.
This kind of reminded me of a Green Day music video, like from the early 2000s.
I could see that.
It's very grungy and societizing
Yep.
and anti-establishment. But was this Warrior 3.0?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's break it down. For those who haven't seen the music video yet, what happened, Supermatic?
We see a bunch of different people or characters. They're struggling with their own individual issues, which can easily be identifiable or touched upon in any of society today.
Yeah.
And then the members of B.A.P. are like these resistance leaders, kind of. They're the ones urging everyone else to wake up from this monotonous trap.
That's right. I was looking really into this one. And as I was analyzing it, I was also scouring the Reddits. And I came across someone who really, quite frankly, broke it down for us.
Oh, wow.
So I just want to, I think this is just going to be a highlight episode for what someone else already said.
Okay.
I'm on board with everything that they've deconstructed from this music video. You mentioned earlier that we see a lot of people, different people in this music video.
Yeah, that's right, Peter. I mean, for example, we have a girl who is alone in her apartment, and she seems to be struggling with like beauty standards. She's got a bunch of beauty products in the mirror and stuff. We see a young African-American male who tries to drown himself, I think it looks like, in the bathtub.
Yeah.
We've got one guy who seems to kind of go into this weird, crazy trance. He waves his arms around, and the next thing you know, he goes from being alone in his apartment to surrounded by dead bodies, which I guess could be an interpretation of terrorism, maybe?
It could be.
I don't know.
I mean...
Again. And then we
see explosions in his hands.
Yeah, explosions come out of his hands, like gunfire almost.
Yes.
We see a girl who's like very kind of aggressively making food, but then she is afraid to eat that food when she picks it up with her chopsticks because there's maggots everywhere.
Right.
That could be a theme for maybe like the standards of staying skinny or
eating disorders.
Yeah, eating disorders, anorexia, just all these different characters representing a different issue that's very topical in society and stuff.
Right.
And then towards the end, we see a guy who's trying to urge everyone else to wake up, or he holds a sign that says like revolution, emotional revolution.
That's right.
And he's about to give up when B.A.P. swoops in and saves the day.
Yeah, and I kind of want to say, like, not criticizing B.A.P. too much, but this is kind of a familiar theme with them. Again, a very anti-establishment, rebel against the system, wake up, open your eyes.
Well, I mean, B.A.P. and their music and their videos have always had and been about strong messages, especially on the topics of, as you said, society, establishment, political climate.
Right. And we're coming actually off of another deep cut episode with the K-pop show where we actually cite a lot of B.A.P.'s songs.
Definitely.
For that rebellion anti-establishment.
Exactly. Yep.
But I thought what they did really well here it was they play up a story that's often undertold, right? So it's all these mental disorders that you just mentioned, right? And they do it in a way that I think really strongly resonates with the people, quite frankly, suffering a lot of these mental handicaps right now. So I think that we need to give major props to B.A.P. for addressing this issue.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And also using a diverse cast.
Oh, yeah.
To showcase it as well. This isn't, something done by just a certain type of person. It's quite frankly encountered by everyone.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, that was really cool for me to see when I actually noticed it, is the fact that we get the moments where the members of B.A.P. themselves are highlighted, but then all these extras in the video, the characters and everything, as you said, it's diverse. We've got people who are not just natives to Korea. Like we've got different races all represented.
That's right. So as we look into this song, I think it's very important to look at who wrote this song.
Oh.
Okay. So let's dive in to the Redditor who basically deconstructed this for us. So I want to call out to BrigidAndair from Reddit. And she gave us permission to quote her on this.
Hey, cool.
She says, look, you've got to look at both Zelo and Yongguk, who wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Zelo talks about growing up and moving on from being idealistic and naive to noticing the injustices of society and becoming unsatisfied with the world. So this may sound very similar to BTS, but it's, again, this concept of maturity, right? It's like, well, it's not all rainbows and sunshine that we see in a lot of other K-pop. It's about recognizing that actually there's a lot of dark stuff going on that's enabling this unfair status quo.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And this relates a lot to Zelo's history in particular because he has grown up entirely within the industry.
Oh, yeah. He's been a trainee from a very young age.
The age of 8.
Oh, yeah. Dang.
I mean, what were you doing when you were 8?
I was being a kid, man.
Right.
Not having a care in the world.
I wasn't thinking about society satietizing stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Or trying to put out a public image or a public face. At least that wasn't a pressure that I had to, deal with growing up. But for Zelo, it was. And, he debuted just when he was barely 15.
Yeah.
I mean, this is before I even knew how to drive or learned how to drive. And even up through the first couple years as a group under B.A.P, he was still holding on to the innocence and idealism of youth. And though he always expressed a profound respect for Yongguk and followed him in all of his efforts, he didn't really break free, and this is quoting BrigidAndair, until the B.A.P lawsuit.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So maybe for our listeners, do you want to recap what happened with the lawsuit?
Well, to be honest, I'm actually, the details are a little shady to me, but just from what I can remember, B.A.P, long story short, some of the things they cited was just unfair treatment, like having these harsh labor conditions. They felt like they weren't being treated what they truly were worth, especially for what they were providing to the label, as successful as B.A.P was, because they were very popular. They were one of the top boy groups at that time, at their peak, before they came out with this lawsuit. And long story short, as the lawsuit was happening, it led to B.A.P having this long hiatus, and
it sort of killed their momentum.
Yeah, it did. Now they're attempting to rebuild that popularity that they once had, which honestly, I believe in them. I want them to be able to hit that peak or maybe even surpass it, because before then, B.A.P was one of my groups I really like to watch.
Yeah, I mean, they were successful enough that they were able to go on several global tours.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the fact that that you're going to have enough fans turn out to your concerts. When they were here in the Bay Area, they were at, what was it? I
want to say it was the
Shoreline? Was it Shoreline?
I think they did a show at the Shoreline, and then a year or two later, they came back again, but it was at the Warfield in SF.
So, I mean, these aren't small venues.
Nope.
I mean, these are sizable venues to fill out. At least here for us. Bay Area. Yay Area.
California.
Fans. Yeah. We saw Zelo, I think, break free of that innocence when he's realizing well, actually, you know what? It's not all sunshine. We're being exploited here. In his part of this song, Wake Me Up, he goes into just that very topic about his loss of innocence and his being a child that has grown up and continues to acknowledge his journey and maturity from the optimistic child that he used to be.
Oh, so Zelo's the one with the line about something like that naive young boy has grown up fast.
Yes.
I remember that sticking out to me when I had the subtitles on.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And I love his rap, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then, was it him that does the
spin? Yeah. Dude, Zelo's crazy with the dancing already, and then you add those rap skills on top of that. Oh, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, major props for that. So he has talked before about his insecurities as he has moved on to adulthood as well. It's not clear if he also has mental insecurities or mental illnesses, as we see in the other characters here, but I think it's the other concurrent sub-theme that we're seeing in this music video. So it's recognizing that something is wrong, that it isn't always as it appears to be. That's why we see this concept of revolution. It's wake up, people, let's have this revolution, this emotional revolution.
Oh, for sure.
Now let's take a look at the other artist.
Yeah, Yongguk.
And this is, I think Yongguk is rightfully the leader of the group. I mean, I don't know exactly his extent in, leading the other members through this lawsuit, but Yongguk, I think we all know, it's no secret that he is suffering from mental illness.
This is actually his return to the group in time for the comeback, because he's been on hiatus since, I believe, October of last year, 2016, because he was diagnosed with having some sort of panic disorder.
That's right.
So it's very topical as well, especially when you look at the theme and what they're talking about in this song.
Yeah. Some of the lyrics in this song: get a grip on your mind, the illusion that has swallowed you. In the gray-colored city, the hazy air and cold temperature infects the rotten brain and spine.
Oh, wow.
So this society, I almost use society as a patronizing phrase, but I think for all intents and purposes for this discussion, it works, that it's enabling the unhealthy perpetuation of mental illness. Right? So it's this gray world that infects the brain and spine. As BrigidAndair comments, she says, this line especially feels so much like struggling with recognizing your illness and being unable to affect it or change it.
Wow.
Right? It's like, you know what's wrong, but you can't do anything about it.
Oh, man.
So I know, right? Bridget is like the MVP here. So
yeah.
She further comments, and this is her, reflecting on her own personal experience. As someone who has both anxiety and depression, and both things Yongguk suffers from, you can recognize the feeling or lack thereof that creates the illusion of cold or lack of emotion. It seeps into everything and brings a consuming apathy, while inside your head, you know that it isn't right. You can't, and she quotes, get a grip on your mind, no matter how hard you try, no matter how badly you want to.
Dang.
And we see this reinforced in other lines in this song.
Mm-hmm.
So, wake up, another me that's inside of me. The hazy light has been turned off. Maybe that inner conscience.
Oh, wow.
Being affected by, again, this disability.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tunnel with no end, which lost all sights in the darkness. Again, another poetic way of, I think, explaining the same thing, right? It's like, well, you're not going to ever get out of this disability, right? It's this long hallway. It's always going to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
There may not be any bright lights in this hallway to, help you overcome this. You're going to have to endure this disability.
Yeah, it's very real.
Another line, ignite the fire, everything with nothing left. BrigidAndair writes, these all allude to the hopelessness of never knowing, of wanting to function while being unable to, of knowing it is wrong and craving for something to fix what is broken. The constant repetition of wake me up over and over again is pleading for a solution that always seems just out of grasp.
Oh.
This is so important for someone like Yongguk, and him writing about it, that it is both poignant and heartbreaking.
For sure.
Yeah, so again, this is coming from BrigidAndair, whose analysis of this is spot on. So major props for her. And,
yeah, shout out to you, Bridget. Like, good job. Dang.
Yeah. Last episode, we were talking about Greek mythology.
Yeah.
I think a favorite thing that you and I love to discuss. It's almost cliche. If you're a philosophy major, like everyone hears this and then it's like, oh my God. But yes, it is Plato's cave. Once again. So if you're not familiar with the story of Plato's cave, it's this idea that, and you always get this when people talk about the Matrix and this, reality, and what if there's another real reality that you're not yet seeing. In Plato's cave, it's this allegory where you have a bunch of people living in this cave, and all they see, they can't turn their head around. All they see is just shadows projected on the wall. Mm-hmm. And because that's all they've ever come to know, that is their reality. But what if that one person who turns around, who looks at the light, and although it's painful to look into light because their eyes have become so accustomed to the darkness, they turn around and they realize that those shadows in the wall aren't the real thing. right? So this is a classic story, right? And every philosophy major knows this.
Yep.
The allegory tells the tale of this one guy who gets out of the cave and how he gets out and he experiences the painful brightness of the sun. And then he tries to come back and tell everyone, like, guys, the shadows on the wall aren't real. And the people who live in their false reality don't want to believe it because it's all they know. In this music video, we see that in a few different concepts. Yeah. So again, one of the lines is, ignite the fire. Open your eyes, people. And again, the flame, it's often, the UC Berkeley or the UC, the California University system, they use the flame to represent this idea of education and enlightenment.
Oh, yeah.
And this is something that you, of course, see in a lot of literature. But we see it in this music video, right? So the flames are also that same form of symbolism of enlightening people, just like we saw in Plato's allegory of the cave. And we see it in the form of the rebellion. It's like, wake up, people. And that false reality that a lot of these people are living, it could be that they're all listening to the airwaves that we see one of the guys listening to the broadcasting from. I don't know if that's supposed to be the sign of rebellion, what he's broadcasting on the airwaves in terms of like getting out of your cave, or maybe it's just like stay in your cave. That wasn't clear to me, that radio station that he's broadcasting from. But again, it's using the fire to illustrate we're waking up and we're rebelling against the shadows on the wall.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, read Plato's Republic if you're into philosophy and that sort of stuff. I'm happy to have philosophy discussions with those of you who are just getting into this. Study philosophy in college, guys. It's great. So yeah, that's what I took away from this song, and it made me appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, props to Bridget and also you for like pointing these things out, because these are the things that clearly I missed, even though I was watching this music video, because I knew we were going to be reviewing it. But I guess after how I dove deep into the new release from G-Friend, I kind of wanted to give my mind a break. But at the same time, I was like, I guess I guess I was not watching the Wake Me Up MV with as much of an analytical lens as I was watching Fingertip, because to me, like, I thought that I was taking away what the initial message is supposed to be from the Wake Me Up music video.
Yeah, and I felt the same way about G-Friend. Yes.
I guess because for me, I'm so used to what I've come to know B.A.P as. When we look at their previous releases, such as Skydive or Young, Wild, and Free, One Shot, Warrior, it's just like, to be honest, the music video, song aside, because the song, like, I enjoyed, but with the video, I just, at least initially for me, it felt a little simple compared to what I would be expecting of a B.A.P video.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, unfortunately, is the victim of their own symbolic storytelling. Because, as we see in the lyrics, it is this gray society, which infects your brain, your spine. And I think they were trying to reinforce that with the imagery and the concept of this music video. However, for casuals who aren't into this, that can just be seen as like, I've already seen this already. This is another Green Day song.
Yeah.
So, like, or another song of rebellion that we've already seen from B.A.P.
Yeah, like to other people, they might just see it simply as another video about even though they can see the references to revolution, they'll just take it kind of as like, especially at that end when the people wake up and they start bashing the cars and set fires. It's just like, oh, organized chaos, which is what B.A.P wanted.
Yeah, and it's not like, we haven't seen this before.
Yeah.
Listen to the K-pop show. I was going to go through a couple examples, right? Like the remaining examples where we've seen this. So I think for the casual, it's like, okay, whatever.
But I do have to shout out, at least, like, with all that considered, one thing that I really appreciated, and I'll admit, it drew my curiosity as well, which I think was one of the things they were going for, is you were alluding just now to symbolism.
Yeah.
And one other thing that we see a motif of, mainly towards the end of the music video, is the rose. And
the flowers I was going to bring that up. Yeah. Well, go ahead.
To just segue into it, because for me, the funny thing is that when I was looking at the roses, my first thought was, well, roses are usually associated as being a symbol of love and romance, but is there anything else? Because for me, I was like, there's got to be another meaning for the rose, because I don't really see much love and romance here. And when I looked into it, I was like, oh, well, red roses, especially deep or dark red roses, can actually mean a reflection of like beauty or perfection. But then also, in some cultures, the the red rose can also come to mean unconscious beauty, like not realizing the beauty that you possess.
I think you're right. That's it. That's it. It's recognizing that you may be suffering with your own demons, but there's a lot of actual inherent beauty that isn't always recognized on the surface. We hear about so many people, right, that they have their own demons, their own disabilities, but thanks to that very disability that they have, they're able to bring new perspectives and new insights and new skills that is lost by the general population.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's not something, that you necessarily need to hide. Mm-hmm. We are going through what one might call an emotional revolution.
Oh, mind blown.
Yeah. Before you brought that up, I was going to say like, it could be that, it's like, well, this is a sign of bliss. You don't need to, you're not recognizing your talents, but no, it is just that there is talent there and that it's kind of like this unseen thing.
Yeah. Because, the other thing, too, is that when I was thinking about it after I read that, is that when you think about a rose as a flower, of course, there's the bud part of it, which is like the red petals, and it's very beautiful and stuff. It represents this kind of like innocence and just this like purity of like wanting love and beauty and perfection. But then you get to the stem of a rose, and it's got the thorns, too. And the thorns are kind of almost like they're there as the defense for the flower. The flower doesn't want to be like touched or corrupted. So in a way, this was just kind of like the attempt I was making at connecting it to what the rest of the music video and the concept was.
Yeah.
For the people in the music video who portray these different disorders and mental illnesses, what if B.A.P. in a way was kind of referring to each of these people as their own individual roses? It's like they have that beauty about them, but at the same time they're trapped by their own illnesses. That's what brings these thorns out, because it's clear that these people kind of want or need help, but they're not sure how to go about asking, or if they really want that help, they don't know. So that's why they set their thorns up kind of as like instinctive defenses.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that's absolutely it. Yeah. Breaking it down. Supermatic. Okay. Awesome. So stay woke, people. Wake up. Wake yourself up. Yongguk rightfully criticizes society and the alleged utopia. Right? It's not everything is perfect, and you should always stay critical.
Definitely.
And not that, being critical of government doesn't mean you hate government.
Oh, yeah, nah.
It means that you're just trying to improve it. We ourselves are always critical of ourselves here on the Kpopcast because we're trying to make a better show for you guys.
Right.
So stay woke, stay shook. Keep questioning.
As B.A.P. would like you to.
So, Supermatic, what did you think of the song itself, the audio?
Oh, man, diving into the song after all that amazing mind-blowingness of the music video. Oh, wow. I gotta say, though, one thing I really liked about Wake Me Up, the song, man, like, it's been stuck in my head. I don't know, like, I thought I knew what I could expect from B.A.P. in terms of music, just because we know we talked about who they are in terms of their videos, their messages, their concepts, but musically speaking, oh man, like that opening howl, or I don't know if it's a howl, but that like ooh, like that just immediately catches you, and then you hear this repeated refrain again of "Wake me up, and then that instrumental, that guitar riff and the steady pulse pounding bass. I was like, dang, it's very anthemic, almost kind of like stadium rock, but every time I was listening to this song, from the first listen and then probably by the 10th, 12th, I don't know how many listens I was listening to it, I was like, okay, this is a jam. Like, I can't help but listen to this song and feel pumped up. Like, maybe not necessarily to the point of like, oh, go out and revolutionize the world, but just like feeling that energy and feeling like, oh, you know what? I need to wake up, or I am woken up. Now I need to go and do something. It's just like, I don't know, too energy infusing to not enjoy. Yeah.
I think it almost brings back, it harkens back to the grunge movement that we saw in like 90s grunge rock. And a lot of that I think was even more pessimistic than this, because this I think, actually has, if you look into it as we're explaining here, it actually has a positive message. Yeah. Maybe grunge didn't always have that.
Yeah. One thing I have to also shout out, though, like aside from just the instrumentals, what I really liked is that it kind of almost seemed to be in a bit of a middle lane between the emotional melodic side of B.A.P, which we hear in those falsetto deliveries of the verses leading up to the refrain of wake me up, but then there's also that powerful and energetic side, again, from their songs like Skydive, Wake Me, or Sky Warrior, and other tracks. But also what I really liked and appreciate, which made this song so amazing to me, is the way they managed to smoothly juxtapose hard-hitting, powerful, delivered rap verses with the more smoother, like emotional, almost like desperate pleading out of "Wake me up, wake me up." It's like, dude, the way they blend those together, that was just amazing to me. Like, oh god, good job, B.A.P.
It is a very good juxtaposition and a very delicate balance to follow, to tread, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like, how do you have these elements that seemingly are contradictory to each other, right? But come together so harmoniously in this song. I put this right up there with what's that song by Infinite? The
Eye.
The Eye. Right? I put this right up there with songs like The Eye, BTS's Spring Day. I mean, these are songs that don't always sound happy, but they resonate you to your core, to your spine.
Like you feel it.
Yeah, in a very emotional way that wants you to feel that emotional vulnerability in a way that's bringing new self-reflection and in a way of maturing.
Yeah.
And sonically, it delivers.
Oh, for sure.
That it captures that theme.
Yeah. Like, if I didn't know about the music video, if I just heard this song, just browsing YouTube or whatever, or any other like medium that you listen to K-pop music, I would already like this. And then you add the music video on top of it, it's like, oh man. But sonically, it's just, this is a great track from B.A.P. Like, production wise, I really got to shout out whoever it was, the team that produced them, and then as you alluded to earlier with the lyrics, especially from Zelo and Yongguk, like, and how topical it is. It's just, I can't help but to appreciate this song. It's great. Yeah,
this goes right up there, I think, with other honorable mentions for art for K-pop, right?
Definitely.
It forces you to confront something that's usually taboo.
Yeah.
It brings you to an emotional state to move you. Not to make you feel uncomfortable, not to make you feel disgusted that you have to commit suicide or go through this eating disorder or this drug obsession, right?
Yeah.
But it's something to make you understand and acknowledge it, and then move you to another place after that.
For sure.
So, yeah, good job, B.A.P.
Yeah, like, if I was just listening to the song and I had not seen any bits of the music video, no teasers, no nothing, I could still imagine this kind of being like the soundtrack to a revolution, or like whether it's an actual world revolution or just kind of that self-revolution. If you're going through these struggles, it's like you have this chance to wake up.
Yeah. So this one is for all the kids who are black, the emo kids of our generation out there. This is the emo song, I think, for the kids, growing up in 2016, 2017.
Yeah, like you said, the video kind of gave you Green Day vibes, and I gotta admit, and I don't mean this in any...
Early Green Day, but
I gotta admit, like, I don't mean this in any disrespectful way. In fact, like, I mean it with the utmost respect and confidence. Listening to the song sonically, I kind of get early Linkin Park vibes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Yeah, like Hybrid Theory, Meteora, Linkin Park, those songs, like... This was so reminiscent of that for me, and I appreciate that, considering Linkin Park is one of my all-time favorite groups. So, again, good job, B.A.P., and yeah, this is just a great song to listen to.
Would you call it best, absolute perfect? I don't know. I think it comes pretty close.
Yeah, definitely.
How does the Kpopcast rate this song?
Oh, dang. Scores. Okay, so for those who may not be familiar with us here on the Kpopcast and how we do our reviews, we have a very simple rubric where we look at the audio, which is what we thought of the song, how it sounded. We look at the concept, which factors in the music video, the message, the overall theme or idea, and then we give our overall score of whether we find it daebak or not. So, I guess for starters with audio, I'll go ahead and give my score.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So, I mean, again, you already heard all the great things I had to say about it. I just, without going much further, it's just, this song is a really solid 4.25 for me.
Okay.
Like it's definitely there in the high 4s. I probably could have given it a 4.5, but it's probably going to have to take a few more listens on though. It's just that I definitely was not going to give it any lower than a 4, but when I think about the song and especially thinking and listening to it and visualizing the music video, it bumped it up by a quarter.
Yeah. And this is just another example. As we've said with BTS, for example, you can't divorce the concept of the music video with the song experience, right? The audio experience, right? These things are very tightly bound together. They did a really great job balancing these seemingly antagonistic feelings and states of being, but it came together very harmoniously in the song. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I should be giving this higher, but I don't see any reason to, so I'm going to give it a 4, which is still very good by our rubric, right?
Sure. Yes.
But I don't see it going beyond that. I don't think there's enough compelling content there, enough of a melodic hook. It's good, it's catchy, but I don't think it's as catchy to the same extent that we get with Infinite's The Eye. That one is going to stay me for a long time, for example.
Okay.
But this one, it's very good.
Yeah.
And I just love the hook in this song. It is great. And you feel that emotional tension.
Yeah.
And that desire, that wanting to stay woke.
For sure.
So it's great. I mean, it's definitely a very strong 4.
Okay. And then how about concept-wise?
So concept-wise, I mean, these guys really delivered.
Yeah.
I think the only problem, and we've called this out earlier, is that they're a fault of their own artistic work in a way that doesn't make it more accessible.
Yeah.
So this gray feeling on the gray aesthetic that we see so strongly in the entire music video, it's a little hard to stand out with that in K-pop that we haven't seen, I think, from the 2006 through 2010 era of K-pop.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because I think that same color palette that we saw in a lot of K-pop music videos in that time were just like this.
Yeah.
And it almost, to a certain extent, feels cheap in that way.
Okay.
The only problem is that there is a very deliberate meaning behind that, right? And as we're seeing with the lyrics of the song and how it's delivered, but one has to wonder if there's another unconventional way of showing it beyond going just gray, right? And then just having these red roses or twinges of color in the flames, right? And so that would be my critique. If there's another way that they could have shown that rotten society and how it affects people rather than just being so obvious with showing the assembly line of the open skulls and then pouring in the gray goo.
Yeah.
I think there could have been a more poetic way of them showing that.
Okay.
Maybe they had to do that to illustrate that there is a meaning here for their more casual listeners, but it's not the BTS level that we're getting with Spring Day, for example.
And that's how Peter starts a fan war.
Oh God, I didn't mean to do that. But I think B.A.P can do it. You know, I think this is a call for B.A.P. Like, this was really good. You guys did a great job. We're probably seeing a few other symbols in here that might be revealed in upcoming music videos from them. We're seeing a timestamp. I think it's like 11:05 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to mean something. The number of times they see it throughout the music video. Maybe it's explained in another one. The V's. For V for Vendetta, I'm sure. So this is great on a whole, but I'm going to give it a solid 4.
A solid 4. Okay.
I love it. I especially love how our Reddit friend BrigidAndair broke it down for us. Yeah. And I mean, this is going to be a strong example that I'm going to remember 2017 by. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Again, shout outs to you, Bridget. Like, good job. Just MVP status.
Yeah, MVP.
All right. So for me, I mean, again, I'm very much on the same wavelength as you, Peter. It's just as great a job as B.A.P did, again, because of what I've come to expect from B.A.P and what I know they are capable of. As you said, them being victims of their own artistic skill and level. I also gave this a solid 4. Could have given it higher if I just, it gave a little more.
You know, it's so funny because these are really high scores for our rubric, but the way we're talking about it, it's almost like we're feeling let down.
Yeah.
It's because, like, this is so close to achieving such immaculate greatness, right? And I think that's maybe why we're both just a little disappointed.
Because I believe both of us are in agreement that we know exactly what B.A.P is capable of, especially compared to their past work. So we just want to see them at that level again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are so close to being that forbidden fruit, right? They're so close to delivering something just a little more sophisticated that brings even more profound emotional meaning to this. And with this, it was just a little short in how they sold it. But just a little.
I guess a upside to that is that it leaves room for even more mind-blowing or
I mean, I'm so excited by what B.A.P will deliver. Right?
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to more stuff just along this line. So, major props, B.A.P.
All right, then. So, without further ado, Peter, Daebak or not?
It's Daebak.
And, of course, Daebak for me, too.
Yeah. And, guys, I feel the need just to stress really high. Like, just to stress, again, these are really high scores that Matt and I are giving this song. So don't, it's not like we're saying these guys fail or they sucked. They really delivered.
Yeah, no, they were great. Again, just to reiterate, shout outs to what B.A.P did, TS Entertainment, their label, and especially to Yongguk, because considering what he's gone through for the past 4 months, 4 or 5 months,
I think more than that.
For him to come back as strongly as he is with this one, I mean, I haven't checked out any live performances yet, but I've been hearing great praise about it. And all the B.A.P fans are just so happy to see Yongguk back, and it looks like he's really coming back with that strong, fierce determination to overcome his struggles. So, good job, Yongguk. Shout outs to you, pulling for all of B.A.P, pulling for the B.A.P fandom babies to get what you want, which is B.A.P back at that top level again. Let's go for it.
Yeah. So where can people find us? Where can people continue this conversation?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can continue the conversation with both of us at Twitter or on Twitter. I am at Supermatic, which is SOUPERMATIC. Holla at me. Let's talk.
Yeah, and I'm at DJ Peter DJ Peter Low. That's it.
Yep.
And you guys don't always have to include Supermatic or myself. You guys can talk with each other. But what's the channel people can do that on?
So you can also use the hashtag on Twitter, which is Kpopcast, KPOPCAST.
That's right.
The name of our show.
And, leading up to this particular episode, we actually put it to a vote. Like, we weren't sure what to review this week.
Yep.
And we asked you guys, like, okay, what's hot? What's going on? And people overwhelmingly, I shouldn't say overwhelmingly, it was pretty close, but there was a substantial majority for this song. We were also considering BTOB, Movies, Day Six's How Can I Say. I mean, these are all great songs, but we only have so much time in a week.
Yeah.
We got to pick the best ones, and it was B.A.P.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta say thank you to all those who voted on the poll, because otherwise I probably would not have checked out B.A.P or really given it as much of a look until later. So.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of thoughts. A lot of people voted for Day 6, and they gave us thoughts on Day 6. Rodri said, there are 3 reasons why Day 6 are the best.
Live performance. He gave
us links to all these live performances. So, yeah, I mean, these are other great groups too. But,
yeah, definitely.
B.A.P took it and won this week. Okay, well, thanks for listening to our show. I guess we'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah, catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you as always.